Previously on Chop Cut Rebuild.
We ran with it and approached forward with the project and with the idea of building a retro van.
They wanted to build an old school bike, something period from the late 60s, early 70s.
What we're really interested in is to understand how these concepts can benefit from the past so that we don't lose the emotion and the feeling of what it meant to go on a real road trip back in the day.
Fond memories of road trips long past motivate many of us to pursue goals in the present.
If you want to know what AMD parts we're going to use on this car, just open the catalog. It's basically all of them.
Previously, you couldn't fix anything like that Daytona, or you couldn't fix a Charger or a Roadrunner or anything until we came along.
One of the high points for me was watching Ted actually shoot welds into his own car.
It's exciting to see the car finally in its original silhouette. It is a Daytona.
AMD pallet showed up today. That was all the parts for the AMD 69 Camaro we're building.
It's important to put this car together in the sequence that we do it in so that we know that parts are going to fit as we go along.
This car isn't going to be finished, meaning it's not going to be body worked, primed, and painted.
When the car gets unveiled at the Pittsburgh show, I really hope that the people seeing the car understand that this car was built from scratch, basically from a catalog.
The time has arrived for our teams to show their stuff on the season finale of Chop Cut Rebuild.
This is Chop Cut Rebuild. Real cars. Real techs. Real deadlines. Hosted by Dan Woods. Chop Cut Rebuild.
Every year, a secret society of specialty equipment manufacturers in the automotive aftermarket comes together in the Nevada desert to celebrate their trade. It brings the best of the best for 1 week to meet, celebrate, and exchange secrets of the trade. SEMA is a unique event and a poorly kept secret.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Woods, and I'm the host of Chop Cut Rebuild. We've been very aware of what's been sort of simmering on the back burners in the car culture, and that is that the custom van world never really went away. There's still a love for it. And we know that this craze has been going on, and we think it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So rather than wait for it to happen, we thought we'd ride the wave at the front end of it. And so that was why we approached Wyotech. They have the right amount of students, alumni, and instructors that work on these projects with us.
I'm John Hurd. I'm the Industry Relations Specialist for Wyotech. You know, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, we knew we wanted to do something really special. And we reached out to Chop Cut Rebuild, who was also looking for a build team to do something really special. And I think we really hit it out of the park. Somewhere along the way, we got lost with this in the 70s. Everybody ready? Your 2016 Transit Shagadelic Cruising Van. What do you think? Hey, wait, what's going on in there? Hey! Hey! Quiet down in there. Hey!
My name is Harry Wyman. I work for Zenith Education Group. I'm the Strategic Relationship Manager. I was extremely surprised by the reaction when we came out of the van at the unveil. I had a hard time keeping my emotions intact because I was just so happy at that moment. 2016 is the 50th anniversary of Wyotech. So what better way to take high-tech technology in 2016 and bring a little retro feel to it?
Gregory A. Player. I am from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Well, I did the rendering on it, the original design and concept. I wanted to be a part of the school. When they called me to do the rendering for the vehicle, I was more than happy to do it, and that's what actually just made me just more motivated and elated to get this established and get it accomplished. From the fact that they could take a drawing and actually turn it to reality.
My name is Mikey Brown. I'm from Deputy, Indiana. In this project, I worked on the center console, the rear doors, and pretty well all the trim pieces inside. I was nervous about unveiling the van. I think everybody is, especially this is the first thing I've ever been involved in to get shown at SEMA, and you wonder if it's going to open the door and just be a big goose egg. So it actually worked out really well. I was pleased to see how everybody reacted to it.
When we first put this out there, we saw an ad from 1976 from Ford, and it was the cruising van and the Pinto wagon. And we wanted to capture Daytona, our campus down there, and the bike program, the motorcycle program, all the great work that they do in preparing their grads. So what better way than to convert the Pinto wagon to a nice Harley Sportster?
Motorbikes have always represented freedom and the open road. The WyoTech Daytona campus specializes in the wheels and motors that make life fun. The perfect match for a 70s themed van.
My name is Paul Dominic, and I work at the Blairsville WyoTech campus, and I'm the coordinator for the specialty programs. Probably the most difficult challenge getting the van here was just to, we got a white van to convert it into a silver van and just go after it. So it's just been a challenge for 4 months, that's all I can say.
Ford coming in and partnering with us in this SEMA vehicle project was just truly just over the top. I'm very proud about what we do. I'm a graduate myself out of WyoTech, 1989. And to see the work and the efforts be rewarded with the excitement from Ford, it was really great.
My name is Tim Steer. I work for Ford Motor Company. I'm the North American Fleet Marketing Manager. In 1976, Ford had an actual production custom van. It was called a cruising van. It had similar paint themes with the black and silver two-tone, and then with the yellow, orange, and red stripe with the big porthole window.
Tim wasn't the only Ford executive impressed with our throwback theme.
I'm Sherry Colleen from Ford Motor Company, and I manage the SEMA Project Vehicle Program. My reaction to seeing the WyoTech Transit van for the first time today was awesome. They really nailed it, and with their 70s themes that they proposed to us. Ford got behind this project with Chop Cut Rebuild because they had sent in a proposal in conjunction with WyoTech, and with our brand team, they thought this would be a really great theme to bring the old back into the new Transit.
I think we've made a new friend, Edsel Ford. Thanks for coming.
Well, very pleased to be here. As I said to you earlier, I was part of this program early on. I joined Ford Motor Company in 1974, and I remember the Pinto and the E150 very, very well. So,
did you ever drive one up Woodward?
No, never. no. Nice
Thank you for coming.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks for having us.
I'll see you, buddy.
See you.
Thanks.
So, I mean, you design things for a living all the time, but you don't get to get funky
Now and
like
again,
this.
yeah, it seems to be what we do on a day-to-day basis. I got to tell you, it turned out quite wonderful.
Right. Did it live up to the potential that you thought it was there?
Yeah, it's all there. I mean, everything's there. It's got a modern version of what it used to be. So it's just like we talked about it last time we had a conversation. Right. It manages to celebrate the past, but also does so in a more futuristic manner.
It's been a ride, that's all I can say.
It sure was a ride at full speed with very little wiggle room. This portion of Chop Cut Rebuild is presented by WyoTech. Make your passion your career. Turn pro at WyoTech. There's two kinds of shows in automotives, trade shows and public shows. At trade shows, people are working, buying, selling, pitching new ideas or products. But at a public show, you find those who attend for the love of the rides. We thought we should experience a little of that love.
My name's Sean Yelanowitz, and I'm the show chairman of the Pittsburgh World of Wheels. This show's been in existence for 56 years. Like the title says, it's the world of wheels. It's everything. It's a little bit of everything. We have street rods, we have customs, we have tuners, we have rat rods, we have traditional cars, we have cars that are just bone stock. My phone rang one day and it was Dan Woods. And Dan said, hey, Sean, we want to come to Pittsburgh. We want to debut a couple of cars from our show. It's like a dream come true. Not often you get a TV show that wants to come and debut cars at your show. So we're fortunate enough to have Chop Cut Rebuild here. The Ford van behind us that was through WyoTech, that has really, I don't think anybody anticipated the excitement and how well that was going to be received. They produce it. I'm getting number one.
So the World of Wheels has been in Pittsburgh, I think it's 56 years now. WyoTech's had a presence at this show probably for the last 10 years. We try to bring a vehicle down as much as we can. One of the neat things about this show is the ISCA World of Wheels Autorama shows have what they call Education Day on Fridays. And so they bring students and they bring them in and they let them have kind of the run of the show floor, if you want to call it that, on Fridays. But also from WyoTech's standpoint, we get a chance to sit down in front of them and kind of talk about the industry. It just was a good opportunity. So this show is not just to show off a nice, pretty van, but it really is to talk to youth and get them involved in what we do.
We start on next year's show Monday. Start getting celebrities together, start getting all the different displays together, contact with sponsors. Once we get that ball rolling, then we spend the summers going to outdoor shows, talking to car owners, and we have one in the show right now. It's in the process of being chopped.
Not just chopped by one of the greatest in the business. There's not many who ever could or can match this man's skill level.
I'm Gene Winfield. I'm from Mojave, California, and I've been chopping tops and building custom cars all my life, and I'm here in Pittsburgh to chop a top in the show while the show is going on. Well, for me, I don't build one from scratch. I customize existing vehicles. I chop tops, I French the headlights, taillights, and mold them and do all that. And then my most enjoyable part is painting them. See, I created the blending of paint, sometimes called the Winfield Fade.
You may know who created the Batmobile, but do you know who created Catwoman's car or 25 cars for Blade Runner? Well, you're looking at it.
My name is Justin Peck, and I'm a professional race car driver. So when I showed up, the first car that I saw was the van that was built by WyoTech. I think for me, one of the most impressive things is this thing has the Ford Ecotec twin turbo. So, I mean, it's pushing 320 horsepower to the wheels, which is it's incredible. I'm not surprised at the quality of WyoTech at all. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a WyoTech graduate that actually works for me. So guaranteed, the WyoTech guys, they're spot on, man. I mean, looking at the Harley that they built for this show, they know what they're doing, for sure.
The opportunity to do a build like this with Chop Cut Rebuild really is a great opportunity for the school itself. We're always looking at opportunities to brand the school, to get the school's name out there in front of people. So when you have something like this where you do a build, you have a film crew come in, you put it on television, but it just kind of gives them an opportunity to see firsthand really what happens at the school. Because not only are we showing the van when we're doing, or the bike when we're doing these builds, but they're seeing the shops, and they get to see some of the things that are in the shops that they have an opportunity to work on.
When a person leaves the show, when they walk out of here, I want them to get in the car and it become a debate. So what would you drive home? What if you had one car? What would be the one car that you would want to take out of here? I want them to go, wow, I want to come back next year.
Coming back next year is a given for many who come to World of Wheels. In fact, I think some will be coming back year after year. This portion of Chop Cut Rebuild is brought to you by AMD, Auto Metal Direct. The name says it all. When we think about muscle cars, we think about Detroit, but the industry is spread across the country. Design centers in California, corporate offices in New York, race teams in North Carolina, and steel using iron ore from western Pennsylvania. It's our history, and it's appreciated in Pittsburgh.
My name's Jim Beebe. I own Red Rock Off-Road and Performance in Taylor, Michigan. In traditional car fashion, we're always kind of trying to get it done at the last minute. And of course, this one was no different. We ended up having to put the bumper and the hood latch on here at the show in Pittsburgh. I got involved with Chop Cut Rebuild just kind of on a whim. Dan stumbled into my shop. A couple weeks later, he called and asked if I wanted to get involved in a Camaro build.
Real Deal Steel and AMD agreed to showcase a '69 Camaro. I agreed to help get it on its wheels. Jim had no idea what he agreed to because I talk very fast.
All right, if you don't know who this man is, turn the channel. This is Gene Winfield. He is a legend in custom car building, hot rodding, and travels the world now teaching people how to do it.
Yes.
You're at this show chopping a car?
Yes, I'm chopping a car right over here in the corner.
And you want to see what we're doing here, right?
Yes, of course.
So this is a 69 Camaro that
Well,
none
it
of
kind
it...
of looked like a Camaro.
None of it is from 1969, though.
Oh, I see. This particular one is like a Camaro that didn't exist. You know, they brought in all brand new sheet metal, you know, hood, trunk, fenders, and everything is all brand new. Created a car, which is a cool deal.
A lot of people, when they look at this car, are very surprised to hear that it's completely built from a catalog, from aftermarket parts.
My name is Ted Stevens. I run Stevens Performance in Alabama. The AMD Camaro build is, it looks good. One of the fun things about that car has been telling people that there's no original parts in it at all. It's completely reproduction. And then they look at it again, they say, I don't want to believe that. But it is, there's not a single original part in the car.
So the trick to being a real celebrity, Justin, not just a motorsport celebrity, is that you've got to sort of paint your signature on here. You don't press it like a piece of paper. Now, as soon as we start signing these things, the crowds will start pouring right now. So just sit here and we'll just wait now that we have some.
Dan, it doesn't start for 2 hours, my friend.
The show doesn't start?
Yeah, it doesn't, like 2 hours.
Damn agent.
I'm out. So yeah, we're down here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the World of Will show. An incredible event, man. I mean, there are some amazing cars here. Talking to the builders, the 69 Camaro, it was very interesting to me because that's one of those cars that they can build from the ground up. And the average Joe can go through a catalog, buy parts and pieces, and they can build this car by themselves.
The Camaro project was cool to work on, but it didn't get to show everything that we can do in our shop. We could actually take this car to a complete running driving car if need be. From wiring to the motor install to tuning the suspension, we could get it done. I don't think I'm going to quit working on Jeeps and switch to strictly Camaros, but if anybody needs a Camaro built, we can make it happen. One of the cool things about the car and the project is that AMD is going to allow us to come here to World Wheels, which is great, but they're also going to allow us to show the car in Detroit, so we could be a part of that in our hometown, Detroit, so that's really awesome for us.
The tour is just getting started. It's a shell of a car, not a hollow promise. You're watching Chop Cut Rebuild. It doesn't take good news long to travel in the world of classic and muscle cars. Rumors of a Daytona restoration have been spreading for a few months, and no matter how high quality the car cover may be, it's never going to hide the shape of that iconic wing and nose from those who know muscle on four wheels.
Hey everybody! Hey, welcome to the Pittsburgh World of Wheels. My name is Dan Woods. I'm the host of Chop Cut Rebuild, and we want to thank you all for coming here. This car was originally found in a salvage yard in Alabama, and had been sitting there for at least 25 years. You know, 25 years ago, there's no way this car was going to ever see the road again. It was strictly a parts car. But fortunately, Ted managed to keep enough of the car and enough of its integrity, including the VIN tag, that he could hang on to it. This car was involved in a high-speed chase with the police and hit a fire hydrant. And the damage was so bad on the front right that we're pretty sure it broke the left rear tail light. So let's not hold things up any further. Guys, do you want to grab a corner of the cover?
The Daytona is a 1969 model. They built 503 of them. This car was originally a 444 barrel with a torque flight automatic.
Let's pass this down. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the 1969 Daytona.
There's a strange appreciation for work in progress with classics. Maybe it's seeing things before they're covered with filler and paint, or maybe an understanding of the road left to travel. Whatever it is, this Daytona seemed to hit the mark.
Is there anything more iconic than this?
No, this car? Is it. You see this wing coming a mile away.
Right.
My name's Pam Beinecke, and this is?
Gary Beinecke. We are 71 wing cars. It's an original cast aluminum wing.
Okay, and how do you find something like that?
They're very hard to find. The wing in the car looks great. You know, Mark spent some time smoothing it out. These wings from the factory were cast rather crudely. You see pinholes and pits and gouges and scrapes,
and grinding marks on them when you strip them, all the paint off of them from when they were original.
Mark Coates, ABM Restorations, Kingsport, Tennessee. Involvement was panel prep for all the Daytona specific parts, building suspension components, assembly, and prepping it for show day.
The biggest challenge as far as the build on the car was acquiring all the Daytona specific parts, as they were all missing off the car. The wing, the nose, all the components of all that stuff. The rest of it's basically just 69 Charger, and the reproduction market is very good with what's available on that.
When we started the project with Chop Cut Rebuild, I really didn't realize, but along with our build that we were doing, Chop Cut was also filming the build of the Dodge Daytona. Then to get to see the pictures of what that Daytona looked like, and from building it for those pictures of a rusted Dodge Daytona that came out of a junkyard to what it is today, in really about the same time frame that we built the van, it's just hard to believe that you could do something like that quickly.
The decision for the paint was Mr. Hedrick, the gentleman, the CEO of AMD. He was insistent that the car looked like new metal out of the box. So when we did that, it came off so well with the stripe and stuff. It's been something that we've had a lot of positive comments on. It's a lot of fun to watch the people's response to looking at the pictures of the way the car was originally to the way the car is now.
The appreciation for the Daytona and just having the history and knowing that it's a track car. And when they built them, I mean, they outlawed these things because they were so fast. In fact, I actually think now that they don't, like, you couldn't run them on a normal NASCAR circuit now because they would actually still win.
The original VIN plate is reattached to the frame on the Daytona. It is the original VIN plate off the car. It is still that car.
Jason King, I work with ABM Restorations and as well as with Ted Stevens at Stevens Performance. Status of the car with the VIN is a very late build of the model, so it's a very late production of the car. So coming into some of those parts are kind of difficult to find being so late because you're jumping into the next year model possibly.
We'll probably finish the car. We're going to have to finish the car. Like I said, everybody says you got to finish the car, so we'll have to finish the car.
Season 12 of Chop Cut Rebuild has been our most ambitious to date. In just 13 episodes, we worked on 4 different vehicles. We even restored a motorcycle for the very first time. Then we moved on to Blairsville, Pennsylvania to work on a base transit van and turn it into the ultimate shaggin' wagon. Yes, I know restoration is what we should be about. So we took a 1969 Camaro and put it together. Of course, it never existed in '69. The entire car came out of catalogs and was put together. Now, the purists say you gotta rebuild something, so we found the ultimate in muscle cars from the 60s, a 1969 Dodge Daytona. So rare that they almost didn't want to let me weld on it, but I slipped the guy a few bucks and I got a few spot welds in, trust me. It's been a great season and a great joy for me to work on all these vehicles this year. We hope you've enjoyed it as well. Remember, if there's a classic in your life, don't ignore it, restore it. I'm Dan Woods. We'll see you next time on Chop Cut Rebuild.
Hey, Rick. How are you?
My name's Joe. I cannot see my house from here. I love a plot twist. That was a swish pan moment, if ever. A swish pan moment. Anyway, this slides up inside the coil.